Bitcoin just hit a milestone that could quietly replace credit cards for millions of Americans, and almost nobody in this country is talking about it. The Lightning Network just broke a record, and if you have never heard of it, you are about to understand something that most people around you completely missed. And here is the part that matters most. This is not about price speculation or getting rich. This is about the actual technology underneath Bitcoin starting to do something that the traditional payment system cannot. Fractions of a cent per transaction. Instant, global, no middlemen. If that does not grab your attention, stay with me for 60 more seconds, because the real story here is even more interesting than the headline. Before we break this down, drop a comment right now and tell me, have you ever heard of the Lightning Network before today? Seriously, just type yes or no. It takes 2 seconds, and it actually helps me understand who is watching so I can keep making content that is worth your time. My name is Ethan Cole, and this is Money Finance Insights. If you are new here, this channel exists to explain complex financial topics in plain, honest English. No hype, no manipulation, no get-rich-quick nonsense. Just clear thinking for real people. If that is what you're looking for, hit subscribe and give this video a like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who deserve better financial education. Now, let us get into this properly, because there is a lot to unpack. Let us start with the problem, because you cannot understand why Lightning matters without first understanding what it was built to solve. Bitcoin, at its core, is a remarkable invention. It is a decentralized global monetary network that nobody controls and nobody can shut down. But for years, one of the loudest and most legitimate criticisms of Bitcoin was that it was simply too slow and too expensive for everyday transactions. And here is where it gets real. If you tried to buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin back in 2017 or 2018, the transaction fee alone could have cost you more than the coffee itself. That is not an exaggeration. That was the actual experience. So the critics had a point. A technology that calls itself the future of money but cannot handle a $5 purchase without a $10 fee is not exactly a payments revolution. That tension between Bitcoin's enormous potential and its practical limitations is exactly where the Lightning Network was born. And here is the part nobody is telling you clearly enough. Lightning does not replace Bitcoin. It sits on top of Bitcoin. It uses Bitcoin's security as its foundation while solving the speed and cost problem at a different layer. And that distinction matters enormously for understanding why this is significant. So what is the Lightning Network in plain English? Here is the simplest way to think about it. Imagine you and a close friend do a lot of small transactions back and forth throughout the month. Maybe you split dinner one night, cover each other for gas, lend a few bucks here and there. Now imagine every single one of those small exchanges had to go through a full formal bank process. Fees, paperwork, confirmation delays. That would be completely impractical. So instead, you keep a running tab between the two of you. You note it down, you settle up at the end of the month, and you only go through the full formal process once. That is essentially what Lightning does. Two parties open what is called a payment channel between themselves. They can send value back and forth instantly, with almost zero fees, as many times as they want. Then, when they are done, they settle the final balance on the main Bitcoin blockchain. Fast, cheap, and still secured by the underlying network. Now watch this, because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating. Those individual channels between pairs of people do not exist in isolation. They are all connected to each other, forming a network. And because of how the routing works, a payment can travel through multiple channels to reach someone you have never even directly connected with. Think about a highway system. You do not need a private road from your house to every possible destination in the country. You just need access to the highway grid, and from there you can reach virtually anywhere. The more roads that get built, the better the system works for everyone. That network effect is what gives Lightning its real power. And as more nodes come online, more channels open, and more developers build on top of it, the whole system becomes more robust, more efficient, and more useful for real-world transactions. Now let us talk about what actually happened, the record milestone, because this is the part that most of mainstream media just glossed over entirely. Metrics tracking Lightning's growth have been showing consistent, meaningful progress in node count, channel capacity, and most importantly, actual real-world usage. And here's the detail that matters. This is not just developers testing things in labs anymore. Real businesses, real payment processors, and real applications are integrating Lightning into products that people are actively using. We are seeing streaming payments, microtransaction platforms, international remittance tools, and point-of-sale systems all being built on Lightning rails. The record is not just a vanity number. It signals that this network is crossing a threshold from interesting experiment to functional infrastructure. But here is where it gets crazy, and I want you to really sit with this for a second. If this keeps growing at the pace we are seeing, it has the potential to quietly disrupt how you pay for almost everything. Not tomorrow, not next month, But the trajectory is pointing somewhere genuinely disruptive, and the people who understand this early will be far better positioned to navigate what comes next. For everyday Americans, the question you are probably sitting with right now is, okay, Ethan, but why does this matter to me personally? And that is exactly the right question to ask. Here's the honest answer. Right now, most Americans use a payment system that was designed decades ago. When you swipe a credit card at a store, there is an entire invisible infrastructure behind that transaction. Banks, card networks, payment processors, fraud departments, all of whom take a small cut. Those fees are mostly hidden from you as a consumer, but merchants absolutely feel them. The average credit card processing fee sits somewhere between 1.5% and 3.5% of every transaction. That does not sound dramatic until you realize those costs get built into the prices of everything you buy. You are already paying those fees. You just do not see them clearly. Lightning transactions, by contrast, can cost a fraction of a cent. Not a percentage, a fraction of a cent. That is a fundamentally different cost structure, and it changes the math on a lot of things. Let me make this concrete with a story, because this is the part that I think really brings it home. Imagine a small business owner named Marcus. He runs a food truck in Austin, Texas. He makes incredible tacos, $12 a plate, and he works hard for every dollar he earns. Right now, every time a customer pays by card, Marcus loses a percentage of that sale to payment processing fees. Over the course of a busy month, those fees can add up to several $100s. Real money. Money that could have gone toward better ingredients, a small raise for his part-time employee, or just a little more financial breathing room for his family. Now imagine Marcus could accept instant payments at near zero cost. The full $12 stays with Marcus. The customer pays as easily as tapping a card, and there are no chargebacks, which is a real and underappreciated problem that costs merchants billions of dollars globally every single year. For someone like Marcus, that is not a small abstract improvement. That is a meaningful, tangible change in the economics of his daily life. Now, and this is important, let us be honest about where things actually stand right now, because I promised you no hype, and I intend to keep that promise. We are not living in the Marcus future yet for most Americans. Lightning is growing, but it is not mainstream. The majority of Americans do not own Bitcoin. Most merchants do not accept it. The user experience, while improving significantly, is still not as seamless as pulling out a credit card for most people. There are real challenges that deserve honest discussion. Bitcoin's price volatility creates genuine uncertainty for both buyers and sellers. If the value of Bitcoin swings dramatically between when you receive a payment and when you spend it, that creates complications. There are also unresolved questions around regulatory clarity, because governments around the world are still figuring out how to treat Bitcoin and crypto-based payment systems. Technical complexity remains a barrier for many average users, and the network effects that make Lightning powerful are still in early stages compared to established payment networks that have been building for decades. These are legitimate obstacles, not minor footnotes. Anyone telling you that Lightning is going to replace Visa by next year is not being straight with you. But here's the part nobody is telling you clearly. Acknowledging those challenges and recognizing a significant technology shift are not mutually exclusive. Both can be true at the same time. And right now in 2026, there is more genuine evidence of real-world Lightning adoption than at any point in its history. That matters. Let us go even deeper, because there is a layer to this story that most finance content completely ignores, and I think it might be the most interesting part of the whole conversation. And one of the most genuinely novel things being built on Lightning right now is something developers call streaming payments, or value streaming. The idea is that you can send extremely tiny amounts of Bitcoin continuously over time, literally streaming value the same way you stream video. Think about what that actually unlocks and try to imagine how different that feels from everything you are used to. Instead of paying a flat monthly subscription for a podcast or a news outlet, you pay per second of content you actually consume. You open the app, the meter runs, you close it, the meter stops. You pay precisely for exactly what you used. Nothing more, nothing less. No forgotten subscriptions draining your account. No paying full price for a month of content you only used for 3 days. This model was simply not possible on traditional payment rails because the transaction fees would have made the economics completely absurd. Lightning changes that calculus entirely. Or consider international money transfers. There are millions of Americans who regularly send money to family members in other countries. Parents, siblings, children who depend on that support. Right now, that process often involves painful fees and waiting periods that feel almost deliberately punishing. Wire transfer costs, currency conversion charges, third-party service fees. The friction adds up dramatically. For families operating on tight margins, those fees are not a minor inconvenience. They represent food, medicine, school supplies that do not make it to the people who need them. Lightning operates on a borderless, permissionless network. A payment sent from Austin to a family in another country can arrive in seconds at a cost measured in fractions of a cent. Some companies are already building exactly these kinds of tools. Some workers in countries with limited banking infrastructure are already receiving wages through Lightning-based wallets. This is real. It is happening. It is small in scale right now, but growing. And if you ignore this, while it is still early, you might miss one of the biggest shifts in how money moves that we have seen in a generation. Not because you should rush into anything, but because understanding it gives you options that uninformed people simply do not have. Now let us zoom out and talk about 2026 specifically, because there is a meaningful convergence happening right now that is worth understanding clearly. You have institutional interest in Bitcoin continuing to expand, particularly since the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs opened the door for more mainstream financial exposure. You have a growing number of sovereign wealth funds and publicly traded companies exploring Bitcoin as part of their reserve strategy. You have a maturing developer ecosystem building increasingly sophisticated applications on top of Bitcoin's base layer. And you have the Lightning Network growing at a pace that is beginning to attract serious attention from people inside the payments industry, people who have spent careers working for the very incumbents that Lightning could eventually challenge. None of these factors alone reshapes the financial world overnight, but together they represent a convergence of signals that serious observers are paying close attention to. And paying attention to signals early is exactly what gives people an edge in navigating change. Here is the emotional truth that I want to sit with for a moment, because I think it is at the core of why this topic resonates so strongly. Most Americans feel like the financial system was not designed with them in mind. They feel like every time they try to get ahead, there is another fee waiting, another barrier they did not know about, another rule written for people who already have wealth and connections. That feeling is not paranoia. It is a rational response to decades of watching financial systems that genuinely do favor those who already have access and capital. I'm not saying Bitcoin or the Lightning Network is a magic cure for that. I want to be very clear and responsible. That is not what I'm arguing. What I am saying is that when a technology emerges that genuinely reduces the cost of moving money, that gives individuals more direct control over their own financial lives, and that operates without requiring permission from a bank or government or payment processor, that is worth understanding deeply. Not because you need to act on it tomorrow, but because the gap between people who understand what is shifting and people who do not is widening every single year. You are already ahead of most people just by watching this video. Before we get to the final thoughts, I need to be completely transparent about something important, and I mean this sincerely. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only. Nothing here is financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor or investment professional. I am an educator and storyteller who tries to explain complex topics as clearly and honestly as possible. Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies carry significant real financial risk. Prices can decline sharply and rapidly. The technology can have undiscovered vulnerabilities. Regulation can shift in ways that are unpredictable. Projects can fail. If you are ever considering any financial decision involving Bitcoin or any other digital asset, please do your own research thoroughly. Consult with a qualified financial professional who understands your personal situation, and never risk more than you can genuinely afford to lose completely. I want you walking away from this video more informed, not more reckless. Those are two very different outcomes, and the difference matters enormously. Here's the thought I want to leave you with, and I want you to really consider this. The internet transformed how we share information. Before it, distributing content globally was expensive, slow, and controlled by a small number of gatekeepers. The internet drove the cost of sharing information toward essentially zero. That transition was uncomfortable for many industries, created entirely new ones, and fundamentally changed human behavior in ways nobody fully predicted at the beginning. What if something structurally similar is beginning to happen with the movement of value? And what if the cost of sending money is starting to trend toward that same near zero territory that email did for communication? Not instantly, not without friction, but directionally over time? The Lightning Network is one concrete, measurable piece of evidence that this trajectory is at least technically possible, and the implications of that, if it continues to develop, are significant for commerce, for work, for global financial inclusion, and for how ordinary people relate to their own money. The people who understand this early do not just watch the future, they benefit from it. And the record Lightning just hit is not just a number on a chart. It is a quiet signal, the kind that gets dismissed until it cannot be dismissed anymore. Now, I genuinely want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what you really think. Do you believe the Lightning Network could actually change everyday payments for regular Americans in the next 5 years? Or do you think the barriers are simply too high for it to ever cross into the mainstream? There is no wrong answer here. This is a real conversation with real uncertainty on both sides, and your perspective genuinely adds value to the discussion happening in these comments. If this video gave you something useful today, please share it with one person you think would benefit from understanding this. These conversations deserve a wider audience. And if you're not yet subscribed to Money Finance Insights, now is the right time to hit that button. And every day you'll get the same kind of clear, honest, no-nonsense financial education that this video was built on. The world of money is shifting underneath our feet, slowly in some places, rapidly in others. Stay curious. Stay honest with yourself about what you know and what you still need to learn. And never let anyone, including me, rush you into a financial decision you do not fully understand. The best financial advantage you will ever have is a clear, well-informed, and independent mind. That is what you're building right now, and that is exactly why you're here. Money Finance Insights, for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Always conduct your own research and consult a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.